Ano ba sila nag-example?
Of our citizens and our communities are here to discuss public safety and emergency response. Ako po ang isa sa inyong mga hosts ngayong araw. My name is Apollo Abraham. At maswerte kayo na ang co-host ko mas kaanya-anyayang pakinggan at mas magandang tingnan. Doreen, palagpakan naman po natin si Doreen.
No, my partner is too kind. It is my pleasure to be hosting with such a legend in the industry. Thank you so much, Apollo. And once again, I'm Doreen Suebaggio. It is our absolute honor to be hosting for all of you guys in this lovely Wednesday. Tama ba? Wednesday. Okay, and as Apollo mentioned, we are going to have a very important, very insightful day ahead of us here in the summit as our speakers will discuss not only the state but also the future of our emergency response capabilities, how we can stay safe, protected, secure in our homes, places of work, and even on the road.
Watch this.
Yung lasing po kasi may hawak na. Yung mga nasaktan po kasi earlier. Okay, gusto nyo mag-discuss kami sa police. Maraming salamat po sa pagtawag sa inyo.
Installer from Maynila Morting and allegedly amok with Polo.
Where is the profession?
Before examination, first namin yung malapit sa North Door, Barangay Bago, Limunan, Agency, Pagyaman.
Sir, first Avenue from your Northwood Avenue. Give me a second, please. This is our police. All partner on one. Amok with Polo. Located first Avenue from your Northwood Avenue. And in every application, city for the
Saro na yan?
Hindi ko po walang sa akin. May lalagay po.
We are support of the PILG Emergency 911.
But,
The PNP now, through its PNP Command Center, is catering to the calls needing police assistance. With that, we are very sure that this will immensely contribute to our fast police response. And of course, we are sure that this will do wonders to our provision of quality police service to each and every Filipino. With that, again, thank you, and welcome to the Emergency 911.
Congratulations to the DILG Emergency 911 for the successful Emergency National Summit 2024. Kami po sa PNP Communications and Electronic Service with the guidance and vision of our Chief PNP, Police General Romel Francisco Martel, of having a safe community, express our full support and active participation in implementing the revitalization of the DILG Emergency 911 system by formulating plans and implementing new innovations to enhance our police response capabilities, especially on communications and electronic matters. My deepest gratitude to the DILG E911 and their partners for advancing our emergency response system. Kasama niyo po kami dito sa aming dito ipabati at may pahati ang service publiko sa ating mga kababayan ng mga tulong. At dahil dito, nakikita namin na ito ay isang pagpapaanan para lahat namin ma-earn ang trust ng ating mga kababayan. Mawawag tayo na.
Ang serbisyo 911 mula sa US ay ating naibigay sa ating mga kababayan sa tulong ng PNP bilang primary responder kasama ng PNP at iba't ibang ahensya ng gobyerno. Ito po ay isa sa pangunahing layunin ng ating mahal na Pangulo na si Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. at ang ating pagiging sekretaryo ng Department of the Interior and Local Government, si Attorney Benjamin C. Avalos Jr. ito ay ating achieve sa tulong ng Secretariat Administrasyon ng Bagong Pilipinas.
Okay. Alam mo, Doreen, alam mo, buti na lang, meron ngayong 911. Kasi if you get to be my age, hindi ko naman tandaan yung mga mahabang phone number.
Okay.
Sa bahay namin, merong, I think most households have this, yung nakalista na near the telephone yung mga,
Contact number.
yung mga diba, police, nearest police station, nearest fire,
Medyo mahirap tandaan.
ambulance, which is great, diba? Pero ito, 911, it's easy to remember, diba?
Can you get it from the top of your head, type on your phone?
Yeah, tama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, I found it very interesting, no? Apollo. I saw something that 2 minutes 55 seconds lang yung response time nila. If I'm not mistaken, that is amazing. You can save a lot of people's lives, change a lot of people's lives with that.
Yeah, gone are the days na dati tatawag ka, matagal yung response time. Ngayon, we're getting better. World class na tayo.
Yeah, very innovative
Kung
also.
yung mga atleta na natin, nakaka-gold na tayo sa Olympics.
Siyempre, kakauwi lang din nila kagabi
Oh.
from Paris.
So even our emergency response is getting the gold standard now. We're trying to get
Part
better.
na tayo with other countries. Alright.
By the way, Green, may mga booths tayo dito. I-acknowledge naman natin isa-isa. Ano ba mga...
Okay, we have booths right here, and I believe we have a total of 8. 8 booths from either side. We have booths from the NGA 911. We have one from the DILG, from the Emergency 911 National Office, Bureau of Fire Protection, Reynold Max Super Fire Extinguisher over here at the right side of the stage. We also have from the Philippine Red Cross, I believe that is them. We also have from the PLDT Enterprise and from the Amazon Web Services. So we have a lot of booths for you guys to check out. They have flyers. I'm sure they're ready to give you guys the information that you want to learn from their respective offices.
Yeah, that's right, Doreen. Marami naman po tayong breaks all throughout the day. Please visit our partner booths and find out what they can do for you. Diba? They might be able to help you. Give you more information.
And talk to the people here as well.
Right.
I had the pleasure of talking to some of our executives, some of our guests here, and madaming matututunan.
Tama.
I'm very young, and actually, medyo konti pa yung alam ko about this topic. So, it's really enlightening And this is a great opportunity for all of us to learn from each other.
Audience members.
Our dashing guests. What an honor. Thank you guys so much for joining us here in this lovely day. At nabanggit ko na kanina, but my partner is a legend in the industry.
A legend in my own imagination.
No, he's a real legend, you guys. Baka narinig nyo na siya, nakita nyo na siya sa TV, sa mga voice-over. Ano yung mga...
Alam mo, kadalasan ko marunong ko sa TV, kontrabida. Ako lagi yung pinakasama. Pero napaka-national kong buhay dahil, di ba, it's so nice?
Oh, okay, I can vouch. Very nice. Oh.
By the way, Doreen, we are giving away a special prize right now. Sino ang pinakamalayo ang ibinahe para pumunta dito ngayon sa Shangri-La EDSA Hotel for this emergency response summit?
Let's start
Sino
with you.
pinakamalayo ang binahe?
Let's start with you. Saan ka galing?
Ako talaga po Marikina. With Metro Manila traffic, medyo malayo na yun, right? Pero sino malayo ang binahe?
Galing pa ako Cavite. Sino mas malayo dyan?
Sir, saan po tayo sir nang galing? Magandang umaga po, Mr. Secretary. Thank you for gracing our emergency response summit. Isa pa po sa gawin palakpakan para kay Secretary Abalos. Maraming salamat, sir.
Thank you so much, Secretary Abalos, for joining us here today in the summit amidst your, I'm sure, very busy schedule. Thank you so much for being here, Mr. Secretary.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Thank you very much. Now,
His welcome message. Let us all please welcome the head of our National E911 Office, Executive Director, Francis Fajardo.
Good morning. To our Honorable Secretary, Attorney General Nancy Abalos Jr., Sir, Mr. Don Ferguson, CEO and co-founder of NGA 911, Mr. Mitch Noxil, PLDT First Vice President and Head of Enterprise and International Affairs, our Grandmaster, Ariel Kayanan, Grandmaster of Free and Accepted Nation of the Philippines, Honorable Governors and Chief Executive, good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, and fellow countrymen, we gather today at a pivotal moment in our nation's history. A moment that marks the dawn of new era of public safety and security for every Filipino. As the Executive Director of Emergency 911 National Office, as entrusted by our Chief Executive, His Excellency Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr., and our good Secretary, Attorney General Nancy Abalos Jr., I stand before you with a profound sense of duty and determination to uphold the values of service and safety that our administration holds dear. The call to action was immediate and clear: to transform our 911 call handling system in the Philippines and ensuring that every plea for help is met with a swift and effective response. And under the guidance of our Secretary, we embark on a journey to provide our people with quality service and protection they rightfully deserve. Today, as we witness the fruits of our labor, I extend my deepest gratitude for the trust placed in me to lead this vital mission. 10 ng aking mga kasamahan at ang buong opisina sa pangakong hindi po namin sasayangin ang tiwala ninyo at ng ating mamamayan. Masaya po pong ibabahagi ang pagbabago na nanganap at magaganap pa sa Emergency 911. Our commitment to public safety is unwavering. Through meticulous planning and dedication, we have crafted a comprehensive strategy that integrates cutting-edge technology, data-driven analytics, rigorous training, and resilient infrastructure. These initiatives reflect the best practices of leading nations like the United States and in Europe, all with the same and singular goal to save lives and protect our property. Sa pagtutulungan po ng Philippine National Police Command Center at ng DILG 911 Command Center, ang responde po ng ating magigiting na kapulisan ay aming pinagtutulungan upang mapaigli at mapabilis sa loob ng 4 hanggang 7 minuto. At ikinagagalak po namin sabihin na simula noong August 8, na formal namin inulunsad at tumanggap ng unang tawag sa PNP PCC bilang isang satellite office ng National Office ng 911. Ito po ngayon ay isinang realidad. In the coming months, we will continue to strengthen the PNP PCC E911 satellite office under the Department of the Interior and Local Government. And we will have our capability to determine the precise accurate caller locations with the technology providing an accuracy of 80 to 90%, limiting the search to radius just 5 yards. Meaning, mas accurate na po natin malolocate ang caller natin kahit na maputol o hindi na natin makontak ang caller, mapupuntahan at marerespondihan na po natin sila. At ito naman isang problema natin sa prank callers, malolocate na rin po natin at mapupuntahan natin ang mga nanloloko at masasampahan na natin ang naukulang demanda para maiwasan na ang ganitong mga sitwasyon. This advancement is already saving countless lives globally. Later, you will hear more about this from our speakers from NGA and Google, as well as other next-generation emergency call handling capabilities such as advanced mapping, incident management systems, 911 messaging, IP camera integration, intelligence tools, and many more. Our vision for 911 extends beyond mere efficiency. It envisions a future where digitalization and technology converge to optimize our emergency response capabilities. By leveraging these tools, we have consistently dispatched and arrived at the scene of our police resources within 4 to 7 minutes. An unprecedented 300 to 400 improvement in response times and overall efficiency. But our ambitions do not stop at the national level. We are committed in cascading to share our knowledge and expertise to all government units nationwide, fostering a culture of excellence and accountability at all levels of governance. Through the establishment of standards and incentive schemes, we aim to encourage the widespread participation in this shared mission. Asahan po ng ating mga butihing mayors na kami po ay patuloy na bababa at makikipagtulungan sa inyo bukod sa paggalang sa inyong otonomiya. Nais po namin ibahagi ang aming advance na kaalaman patungkol sa teknolohiya ng komunikasyon. In my 9 months in office, we are proud to say or report that we have already tripled the number of activated emergency 911 local centers nationwide. And we hear more LGUs expressing their interest in being activated emergency 911 local call centers before 2024 ends. As amended by Executive Order number 56, through 911 Commission, which is our Secretary, is the Chairman of the 911 Commission, and as the implementing arm of 911 National Program, the organizations from national, local, and private sectors have heeded our call to gather at this summit to support our advocacy for upholding public safety and security. I issue a call to arms. Pagtulungan po natin ito, contribute your expertise and security, and contribute your resources, your passion, your ideas, and your energy. Together, we have already begun the journey toward positive change with the invaluable support of our Philippine National Police as well as our Bureau of Fire Protection as our primary responder under 911 National Program. We will transform public safety through a revitalization of Emergency 911 National Program, thereby elevating our nation to greater heights. Let us heed the words of our esteemed Secretary and ensure that every Filipino receives the service they deserve. In unity and solidarity, let us march forward to a safer, secure future for all. Solid Deo Gloria. Maraming salamat po. Dahil ang gusto ng D911, ligtas ka at ikaw ang pina. Maraming salamat po. Mabuhay po tayong lahat at mabuhay po tayong Pilipinas.
This National Summit on Emergency Response was put together because our National E911 Office is truly focused on giving all Filipino citizens access to the best public safety and emergency communications system available. Just like what is used in the US and Europe, hindi na tayo yung napag-iwanan.
At par na tayo with all
Correct.
other countries.
Correct. And we are very blessed this morning to start our summit with wise and inspirational words from a gentleman who leads a group of people committed to the service of their fellow men.
Tama ka dyan, Apollo. This gentleman and our next speaker leads a group of men whose guiding principle is brotherly love, relief, and truth. Their aim is to promote moral and social virtues which unite all of us, brothers and citizens of a greater society. But Apollo, the ultimate goal of this group is making good men better. And of course, I'm referring to the Grand Lodge of Freemasons, a civic society that is supporting this event and all that it stands for with their full commitment. And so, ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome the Grand Master of the Free and Accepted Masons of the Grand Lodge of the Philippines, Grand Master Ariel Mayanan.
Good morning. Allow me first to greet the what we call organizers of this undertaking. Of course, headed by esteemed Executive Director Francis. Good morning, sir. And also, we are here right now with the man who will lead, not only to execute but also to make sure that this one is sustainable, the most competent, the energetic Secretary of the Interior and Local Government, no other than Secretary of Government. So that I will not be omitting the seal of omission. I will be actually addressing you collectively, distinguished guests and fellow members of this very important and noble undertaking, and all the agencies who are here. Please kindly lend me your ears. I stand before you today with a heart filled with gratitude and spirit, breathing with dedication. Your call to action has resonated deeply within our brotherhood, igniting a furor of altruism and service that propels us forward with unwavering resolve. What is this all about? It does not need to come to a master's degree or a doctoral degree. It only needs common sense. What is this? This is actually the art or the business of what? Saving life. What is more even important than saving life? First and foremost, our life and having that life is actually a primary function of our Constitution. It says that is the right to live. So it has to be protected. At the core of the values of Mason lies a steadfast commitment of upholding moral integrity, championing justice, and above all, serving others. The basic tenets of, as mentioned a while ago, I'm not sure we do not have this what a member na lady ko o lalaki ko masan. Pero nagulat ako, alam niya, brotherly love, relief, and growth. You see at the middle is relief, and what does relief tells? It's the highest form of relief or charity will be saving those who could not save themselves and protecting those who could not protect themselves. And I am very happy that as we embark this what we call important undertaking, is with great pride and humility that we join hands with our brothers from the Philippine Coast Guard also, where you truly also belong. These are volunteers who are also in the art, science, and business of assisting and saving life. I also noticed a while ago that there are some other branches of government here, wherein I used to be a part of also for the last 3 administration. I saw the people from the Bureau of Jail and Management Technology, those who are actually from the Bureau of Fire Protection. I also saw some from the PNP, and they are all under again the commandership and the stewardship of the Honorable Secretary. Palapakan naman po natin sa As being part of this journey, we pledge our support to the advocacy of promoting awareness and active participation in the E911 emergency hotline service. Imagine niyo po, yung palang pagpapackage. Pag yung tatawagan ng respondent ay napakahirap, memoryahin, ay mahihirap. I'll give a very common sense. I'll give a very simple example. Credit card. Pag nawala akong credit card mo, I'm sorry, it means no disrespect. Pag nawala yung credit card mo, hanapin mo yung ang akin. Kung sa napakaliit na, kailangan na matifying glass, ang haba pa ng numero. Pag nagkamali ka, tapos mahaba yung response time, it cause a lot of damage. Nagamit na ng mga nakakuha doon, yung actual remedial na lang ang gagawin natin. So, 911, very simple. Impress mo lang yung 911. We recognize the pivotal role that education and advocacy plays in this effective change. And we are ready to take on the challenge with vigor and passion. Our first step shall be to disseminate information about E911, key milestone to all our members and their families. Charity always begins at home. We believe that true change begins at home. It is essential that every individual understands the importance of this life-saving service. Through our collective effort, we instill confidence in the system and foster a culture of preparedness and swift response. Furthermore, we shall leverage our influence and network engage with leaders in the local government units, national agencies, and private firms. We will encourage them to do their part, no matter how big or small, to support this vital initiative by uniting our voices and resources. We can create a ripple effect of positive change that will benefit our community now and in the future. Of course, lastly, we heed the wise words of our good secretary. And what is this? It is emphasizing that action speaks louder than voice. As Mason, we are committed to embodying the values of service, integrity, and compassion in all that we do. The organization shall serve as a beacon of inspiration, guiding others towards a path of selfless giving and meaningful impact. And as I was reading part of the what we call instrument that was provided a while ago, it was born out of 4 elements. Ano po yung 4 elements? 1, improve response time. Allow me to put an impression on this. Katatapos lang po ng Olympics. At makikita niyo po, hindi lang ang Pilipinas, the difference between a runner-up and a champion is just a fraction of a second. Imagine kung i-compare po natin logical to sa saving life. Ngayon po ay pinag-uusapan, goal lang na napaka-importante ito, buhay. May mas ginto pa po sa buhay. If you only miss a fraction of a second, it's a difference between you save life or the effect of that, the effect of that catastrophe might be more vicious. Eh, hindi po ba lumuwala po sa nung sabi ko ni Sinders, dun sa Sinders list niya. If only I could have more resources, and I was even enough time, there will be more Jews that I was able to see. We are talking of life here, mga kaibigan. Of course, the second element will be enhanced communication skills. It was already mentioned a while ago that we do not only respond. We have to respond to the right callers. We will only be actually wasting our resources, wasting our time, that if we ended up that we only responded to the wrong callers. And eventually, imbes na nagamit natin sa tama, ay gagawin din pa natin sa prosecution na wala naman kung mamibigay na ating value. Communication is very important because if you have the right to respond to the right callers and the competent respondent will be there, I am referring to the whole of the nation approach. Ibig ko sabihin dito, pag dumating kayo, dapat kumpleto. Whenever there is a rule that in a group, the chain, we are only as good as the weakest link. So if within the group, there is somebody who does not understand what they should be doing, instead of them that they will be helping, they might be the one who will be our liabilities. So the core group is very important. The third one is the increased preparedness. I want to impress that when Noah created the ark, it was not yet ready. So planning is very essential. But planning without action is just daydreaming. On the contrary, when you do action without the right planning, it becomes a disaster or nightmare. Yun po yung sinasabi ko kanina, the emphasis of the good secretary. While action speaks louder than voice, there should be a great preparation. And I'm calling and knocking to the heart of those who are not needed. A while ago, it was mentioned well that this is a law. I am not a lawyer, but I was surrounded by so many lawyers and so many undertakings that I already have. From the academy to the private sector, the government, now I went back to I actually go back to the academy. And precisely why we have law. Law guides us to maintain and contain regularity. So the imposition of the law is very important. So it means we have to implement it. There's no need for a calling for us like this, but of course this will help. But if it is a law, the only way to make it what it will to experience the effect is to implement it. So that by implementing it, we also reap the benefit of that law, and that is to contain and maintain regularity other than life. The emergence of E911 as a tangible reality is a testament of power, collective action, and unwavering dedication. So to whom I'm greatly knocking again the heart. Again, they are under the horizon, and they cannot be converging for the good secretary, the LGUs. There could be no more agency that would impress it well other than the LGUs because they are their direct constituent. Imagine you po, if you could save each and every life, or at least prevent them from having that what we call a not so good effect. Whether it's safety, whether by criminal act, whether by what we call that condition, my goodness, that will be a very good message which will be sending to your constituent. When I was a part of in agriculture, I still remember then, ang sinasabi namin palagi nun, that the Philippines itself, look at the situation of the Philippines, so whether you like it or not, our agricultural, what we call status is that we are agroclimatic dependent. Ano ibig sabihin ng agroclimatic dependent? We will be visited, whether we like it or not, by different types of typhoon, not less than 21 of them every year. Uninvited guests, which will be bringing different disasters. So E911 can be a vital assistance here. Imagine if there's something that will come, whether you like it or not, and the only way that you could do is just to manage it. So what more element that you could do if you have a exact plan and prepare one? Collective again. What will you do before it happens? What are you gonna do as it happens? And what are you gonna do after it happens? Tama po ba yun? So, yung mga response are very important. So, well, guests and distinguished friends here, with its call for the health answered properly, its life saved and its community strengthened, we witness the transformative potential of this service. We are honored to be a part of this noble endeavor and look forward to the positive changes that lies ahead. At the end of the day, measurement or measures will depend on how productive we are. Nagbibiron po kami dati, when the agricultural sector then will be performing good, we actually attribute it with our good strategies. But when it fails, we just charge it to bad weather. We do not want to have that kind of policy. Kung may maganda tayong response, yung attribution of bad weather, that will be minimized in that area. Together, let us embrace the spirit of altruism, stand united in service in the way for a brighter, safer, and future tomorrow. Allow me to impress a very important quote coming from the African nation. They are developing countries, but usually have very good values. Dalawa pong values. Number one, I was referring to communication. They said that for as long as the lion was supposedly the king of the jungle, we learn how to write and we learn how to communicate. It will always be the hunter who was a total stranger in the jungle will be lording up. Never the lion is the real king. And the last one, they said that coming together like this is a beginning. But to make it possible and work, that is a good accomplishment. And to sustain it, that is our preparation. Magandang umaga po sa inyo.
Ang magsasalita ay isang visionary and moving force behind this effort to revolutionize our emergency response system. He has been a public servant for a very long time, even as a young man. He has served in various capacities as mayor and congressman of his beloved New York City. He was MMDA chairman as well, and we can say he really knows and has a feel for the pulse of the people, what they want, what they need, what their problems are, because he has worked with them in various capacities. No wonder he is currently our Secretary of the Department of Interior and Local Government. And one thing we can say about him, when he has a mission, he pursues it relentlessly. He sees public safety and a modern, relevant emergency response system as a true gift to the Filipino people. And he would like to leave this living gift as a legacy for current and new generations.
Another man of service in our midst. And of course, kilala natin yung tinutukoy mo, Apollo. And so, ladies and gentlemen, may we present to you our keynote speaker, the Honorable Secretary of the DILG, Attorney Benjamin Ben-Hur Abalos Jr.
Magandang umaga po, please. Thank you for your kind gesture. Of course, I would like to greet Mr. Mitch Toxin, the first Vice President and Head of PLDT. Sir, maraming salamat po. Mr. Don Ferguson, the CEO and co-founder of Next Gen Advance 911. Mr. Adriel Cayanan, the Grand Master of the Freemason. Executive Director Francis Fajardo of the ALG 911, to the ALG family, to all governors, mayors, local government unit officials, mga kasama po sa ALG, magandang umaga po sa inyo. You know, this 911 was established way back 2018. It's been close to 7 years now. But by virtue of an executive order signed by President Duterte. But before that, there was 117. And you know, a lot of things have changed. Before, it used to be just telephone operators, etc. And going back, we just in office for 3 years. So when I became the ALG, I told Mr. Francis Fajardo, just look at the systems. What are the things that we need? Remember, we are archipelagic, parang tayong isla, full of islands. And how many manpower do we have to run the whole thing? We only have 30 in the ALG as per our budget. Imagine 30 personnel running that whole system. So we had a list. And the only thing that we could do to really implement this in the most efficient way is to go through technology. That's the only way. And this is what the team of Director Fajardo is lead. That's why we were able to partner with the next generation advance of Robert and Don Ferguson. By the way, Robert, before, I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it before. He looks familiar, but I think it was 30 years ago when he was a bright scholar of Mandaluyong during the time of Manila. Now, Robert and Don, they're the ones running the 911 in the US, in the United States of America. And because of their good heart, they donated a system to the ALG worth 120 million pesos. Thank you so much, Don, for your good heart. Those were the background. Now, how many calls do we receive? We receive about 28,846. This is from January up to June. And of these, of the 28,846, close to 24,000 are emergency calls. Emergency dapat agapan mo pa agad ito. So, yun is the immediate threat. So, anong ginawa? What did Don and Francis do? The first is connect this system with an agency that has the most number of assistance that they need, and that is the Philippine National Police. So that's what they need. And because of this, right now, the reach is all over the country. But the idea is really for every LGU or clusters of LGU to have a local command center so that all other services of the LGU could be cascaded down the ground. All other services in the future. And of this, I think the first LGU was Moron. After that, it was Alaminos, Cagayan de Oro, Navotas, Mandaluyong, Cancun. So, to place things in this proper perspective right now, as far as PNP is concerned, the reach is all over the country. But again, we have to reach out to the BFP, to the Bureau of Fire, equally important here. And right now, we've got the La Nina in the next coming months. I was advised by Pag-asa, we will be having at least 1 to 2 or even 3 typhoons per month. Marami na ito, siguro more than 10 typhoons pa. So we need other agencies to go on the ground. So, under this revitalized program, just let me walk you through. Number one, there will be precise caller locations. That's very important. Because pagtawag po niya, hindi mo kagad malalaman kung saan. That is the system here. You will already know where the caller is located. Number two, there will be advanced mapping and incident management systems. Later on, it will be explained the number of calls, where these calls, etc., and how you manage them. Data are very important. Number three, It's the data analytics. And of course, there might even be video streaming so that everything could be seen on the ground. That is why MMDA, I've seen that already here. MMDA is very important here as far as Metro Manila. And this will be done by omni-channel messaging. And later on, probably, there will be even an integration of the system with vehicle cameras, because like in our Benalos Mayor, I made sure that some of our vehicles have cameras, so that I could also locate where they are and what's happening in the ground. Even body cameras will be integrated. And so, my dear friends, that is right now where we are. As we move forward, we will also establish robust standards and monitoring mechanisms. We will make sure that we will use the latest tools and techniques around the world. The idea is to create a seamless nationwide communications infrastructure for emergency services. So that is the idea. So we are now starting this as just 2 years, but we have to work very hard. And by the way, I would like to thank the Philippine National Police, the BGMT, and of course the Bureau of Fire. Okay. DFLG is a department of the Interior and Local Government. Local government meaning we supervise all governors, mayors, councilors, barangay captain, etc. Interior means public safety and peace and order. We supervise the Philippine National Police, the Bureau of Fire, and of course the Bureau of Jail Management. On the middle, we also supervise the Commission on Women, on Youth, on Muslim Filipinos. And in the third level, the National Police Commission, the Local Government Academy, and the Public Safety College. It's so broad. So when we have these 30 personnel, I asked the head of the BGMP, the BFP, and the PNP if they could, have assist me in personnel for callers. And right now, that 30 personnel handling that calls for over the country is now 150. Salamat sa inyo ha, BGMP. Pero alam ko, kulang pa yun. At sa next budget namin talaga sa putakihan na natin ito. But then, that's how we work. Whatever resources we have, we must be innovative, think out of the box, be resourceful here. I'm calling on all LGUs that we have right now. If you could coordinate with you on the ground to scale these things so that not only will we be connected to the PNP, but all other services that you have on the ground, especially now that we have the media. I hope this is the idea that we all believe in, because we all believe in efficient service, especially during the times of emergency. Maraming salamat po. Mabuhay po.
You officially let the PNP use the NGA 911 call handling system to respond to distress calls and provide emergency response in unprecedented speed with accurate pinpointing of location. Nakakamangha, Apollo. Honestly, nanonood po ako ng mga TV series or napapanood ko lang yung mga ganitong bagay sa TV, diba? Pero magagamit na siya at mabibigyan natin ng ganong servisyo ang mga Pilipino.
Nakikisabay na tayo sa teknolohiya sa first world na hindi na tayo nagpapahuli. Kaya ano pa nangyintay natin mga kaibigan? We would like to call on stage DILG Secretary and her analysts, E911 National Office Executive Director, Francis Fajardo, First Vice President and Head of Enterprise and International Core Business for PLDT and Smart, Mr. Rich Luxien, and the co-founder and CEO of NGA 911 LLC in California, USA, with a subsidiary here in our country called NGA 911 Philippines, Mr. Don Ferguson. Please join us on stage, Bill. All of the memorandum of agreement. Bigyan naman natin sila ng moral support. Isang masigaw ng palakpakan. They are signing pieces of paper that this means a better future for all of us.
Of course, this is a momentous occasion, and we would like to invite all our friends from the media to come over here in front, take your photos as the memorandum of understanding is underway. The beginning of a lot of people's lives being changed, a lot of lives saved through this project, through this technology.
I have 3 children. So yung mga, basta nagulong sa safety, public safety and peace and order, yung mga asahan na talaga. I think all Filipinos, whatever political, anywhere the political or social strategy of support.
Of course, again, this is a very significant moment. Indeed, your friends from the media can come over here in front for the photo op.
Arguably, this is the most important moment in our entire program today. Alam mo sa Pilipinas, kalimutan ko na lahat, wag lang ang picture taking.
Already having friends from the media. And again, we're very grateful for our esteemed guests taking the time of this very busy schedule to join us here in this summit. Our esteemed guests, do we invite them here in front?
Pwede na, okay na. Ito pala. So, pasensya na, kapag pala hindi mo na natin yung ang ating mga bisita. Tinatawagan po muli natin si Secretary Avalos, si Executive Director Francis Fajardo, Mr. Rich Donsky, and Mr. Don Ferguson to join us in the Marcelino stage. But this time, that we hear on our very nice setup. Para sa
host ng talk show na yan.
Oo, na. Ikaw na sa akin ng tanong na matalihang ng tao na ako. Ako magpa-fan mo nila Okay. Once again, if we welcome our speakers on stage, let's give them a round of applause. Gentlemen, please make yourselves comfortable. I'll be to sa dulo. I'll stay at the very end. Right. Yes, sir. Please, sir.
We would like to invite Undersecretary Lauren Villanueva to join us here in front for our mini talk show.
Ladies and gentlemen, Secretary Avalos had to rush. As you all know, he's a very busy man. But we are graced with the presence of Undersecretary Villanueva to represent Secretary Avalos. Pagpakan po natin siya. He is speaking for Secretary Avalos. Yes, we would like to request Executive Director Mr. Francis Fajardo to join us on stage as well.
Okay. I know this is a mini talk show. It's going to be informative, insightful, but we can also make it light and fun. Right? What an honor being in the midst of all these leaders, all of these gentlemen in their respective fields. Apollo.
That's right. Gentlemen, please, let's all sit down. Sorry. Undersecretary Villanueva, simulan ko na po ang papatanong. What steps can be taken to ensure the full implementation of phases 2 and 3 of the revitalized 911 so that all Filipinos can benefit from its nationwide rollout. Kasi syempre at this point, it's all plans, right? Of course, we want to bring it to fruition.
Thank you for the question. Crucial here is the involvement of the local governments. Because the National 911 Office, of course, cannot handle it alone. The way this is done in places like the United States is that 911 is a decentralized affair. Each local government, each jurisdiction will have its own local call center, local answering point, and usually the calls, pag dumadating sa mga local call centers, doon na ginagawa. It's from these local call centers that emergency response is usually directed. So the eventual goal of 911 is to have that kind of decentralization where each local government has its own emergency command center that can accept calls and from there already direct calls accordingly. So the role of the 911 going forward will be to educate these local call centers to maintain standards and to sort of manage the whole process. So that decentralized vision is what we see, how this can be done. Because just to manage everyone's expectations, it's really not feasible for the long term for all the calls, emergency calls within the entire country to be handled by a single national command center. That's just not the way it's done even in other countries. It has to be decentralized to ensure full implementation effectively.
So it should be localized.
Yes.
For now, it's centralized, but like you said, sir, it's critical that all the local government units participate, and then in the future, this will all be localized. In the city,
Nagsimula na yung process ngayon, so there are various local governments that already have their own emergency call centers. Pero as of now, iba-iba yung standards nila, and many of them don't use the 911 number. So it's time to sort of unify all of that and create sort of a national standard. If I may mention, in the US, this process took over 30 years. If I recall correctly, Don can correct me on that, but I remember this was started in the 1970s, and it was about maybe 30 years later when they had 90% implementation. So it took decades to develop that kind of system in the US. So in a way, we've sort of leapfrogged that using the experience in the US, and we're achieving hopefully much faster progress.
well, sir, I can only say I think many Filipinos will be praying for the success of this program, of course, because ultimately it's for the good of all of us, right?
Something that takes time, but I guess it's never too late to start, right?
That's right.
And you're starting that right here. Pero matanong ko natin ngayon kay Director Fajardo. Director, we have been mentioning the PNP all throughout this program. What was the reason why the PNP was selected as the first bureau to be a part of the 911 revitalization initiative?
First of all, the PNP National Police is the primary responder of the 911 national program. That's why we chose the PNP, and based on the data, most or majority are asking for police assistance. That's why ang PNP ang pinili natin itong revitalize na
Yung nakita natin sa video kanina, Director, yung 40% ay kailangan ng police assistance. Pero if I may add, ano po yung mga bureaus or commissions na tina-target natin to join the National 911 program maybe in the future?
Siguro itong yung PNP Commission on Women and the Department of Education so educate natin sa schools na itong 911 program natin ay effective na at mas mabilis na kasi yung minors sa violence control natin alam naman natin ang crime na nag-registrate so they have the opportunity of silang venue to call 911 at nag-report na yung mga ganyan ng accident.
I think that's very important, no? That it starts with the school, because how can you ask for help if you don't know that you can ask for help in the first place, and you have people to ask for help from? Thank you so much, Director.
Information and dissemination will also be critical. Kung hindi mo alam kung regular Filipino citizen, hindi mo alam na it's at the tip of your fingers, so you can, it's easy to access. I'd like to ask at this point, Mr. Don Ferguson. Sir, what inspired you to introduce this U.S.-based emergency response system to the Philippines? And what do you think is your competitive edge of your system in the emergency response market, or what it brings to the Philippines 911?
So, the inspiration of bringing it to the Philippines is very important. Where is Ishka Villas Cisneros? Ishka, where are you at? If you could stand up. Ishka is somewhere around here. Ishka is our CFO of NGA in the United States. We started deploying the next generation of 911, which will not take decades to deploy. It will be a matter of a few years that we're fully deployed. Because we packaged all that learning in the United States and we brought it over to the Philippines. So the Philippines is the beneficiary of all the knowledge and all the mistakes that were made in the US already done, and the Philippines gets to start from there. So it really started for us with winning several contracts in the United States, including the state of California, starting that implementation, turning up sites, Ishka seeing how valuable this service was to the United States. So we're actually upgrading the old legacy American 911 system to next gen. Ishka grabbing by the neck or the short hairs, whatever, said we gotta go to the Philippines. She loves her country and made sure that we started this process here about 5 years ago.
Amen, sir. Thank you. Sir, a quick follow-up. Just like what Undersecretary Villanueva said, it will be critical that we're starting first centralized, but then sooner or later it has to be localized with all the emerging needs. So, sir, my question is, how will NGA 911 ensure consistent emergency response across all the LGUs from cities to small municipalities? And what are the problems that you foresee that you might have to deal with?
So, consistent response has many dimensions to it. I think it starts with a highly reliable and resilient network, and that's where the collaboration across many stakeholders takes hold. And Mitch with PLDT has been a great partner, and this is where the resilient network will make sure that delivery, it starts with the network. Fundamentally, that your network is resilient, it stays up, and it's always there to deliver and connect responders together with callers. That's where it starts. And then, given that you have a strong network, then on top of that, you have our applications which allow for inheriting the procedures and processes in the US into the Philippines. So you can actually, because all the LGUs and all the responders are now interconnected on a national LESI where they can instantly communicate and share information, you then get your consistency. So it starts with the network, and then applications running on top of that network. And I understand Mitch is going to talk a lot about that this afternoon.
No, but sir, I like what you said that it's important that the tools should be working, right? And now the partnership will be able to, we all know that, well, the setup has to be, in good order so that we can do this program without any glitches.
So there's just one piece that precedes the network and the applications, is the vision to bring this to the country. And that's the idea.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I'm very happy that John touched upon this earlier. He mentioned Mr. Mitch Toxin of LDP at para sa inyo nga po ang susunod pinagdaraw. In the subject of network, as John mentioned, I want to ask how PLDT intends to coordinate with local government units and, of course, other stakeholders to ensure a smooth and efficient rollout, of course, of this 911 service.
Thank you. So, it's always been our chairman's vision in PLDT. We apologize if you couldn't attend and meet personally today. But he plays a big role, he wants to play a big role in nation building. And second, because we're in telecommunications and ICT, like PLDT Group, we're tagged already as public service. It is our goal to actually make sure of two things for the emergency 911. First is, we have a dedicated government team, a CRM team, that's scattered all over the country. And we have given our promise to the Secretary and to Executive Director of our to actually help educate and disseminate the information on the emergency 911. Besides them activating majority of the LGUs, whether it starts with the provincial government, the city mayors, or the municipality mayors, we will also enable their people on how to handle basically the technology and the platforms that we're going to bring in with NGA 911. That's the first, right? So we're going to continue to push this forward. We're going to have roadshows. We're going to put this out in broadsheets and hopefully in TV as well, so that we can actually make sure that we cover majority of the LGUs as fast as we can. The second one is the infrastructure that Don mentioned a while ago. I was quite pleased actually when Don visited our office, because traditionally we would provide a second backup. So it would be the primary telco, we would have a secondary telco as a different telco as a backup. But the platform that Don is bringing in actually has a third resiliency, a third backup, which is really using satellite to ensure that no matter what type of calamity or emergency happens, that it could always be up and we could always support the government and the Filipino people.
Very well said. And Apollo, you can really see, that it takes a village to make this project happen. A lot of local government units, the PLDT, the NGA 911, working hand in hand to make this one a possibility.
You said you need to comprehend that. That was my thought exactly. This is cooperation and teamwork on a very large, on a national scale. Like what you said, we need leadership with a vision that starts with the LG and Secretary Adams, of course. The idea generation of data. And from there, it trickles down. You put it into action, and then of course you have all the players with all the tools that have to work for it to succeed.
Takes a village to make it happen. Pero daanan natin sila. Sino ang next natin ako?
Well, wala sa plano ito, no? Ito, personal inspiration. Hindi ko alam kung magkaan sila sa akin. Is there a question from the audience na gusto nyo itanong sa ating mga bisita? Meron ko ba tanong?
Don't be shy.
Raise your hand, I will run to you. And then you can ask your question. Huwag tayo nahiya. Meron ko ba?
Apollo will run to you.
Meron. Sige na. Ito na from the horse's mouth, itahan. Ito na yung big time natin ng mga bisita na maaari sa mga questions or concerns. Meron ba? Is there anybody?
According to our director, wala na daw press one. So, wala na daw press one. So, we have to ask questions here. Tama ba?
Ganun po ba? Is that right? Oh, yun na. So, if there are any questions, let's okay. Well, if there are no questions, can we please give a big round of applause to our 4 resource speakers here on stage. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being so accommodating.
Photos, this is your chance.
Sige, sir.
I'll keep in touch.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Then I called around 1 a.m. and then pumunta agad yung police within 10 minutes. Before that, kasi tumawag ako sa barangay and sa police. After 1 hour, wala pa din nagbigay ng tulong. from barangay and police station. Pero when I called 911, in less than 10 minutes, dumating agad yung mga police. Yes, sa bahay.
Ano po ba nangyari?
Someone was harassing me sa bahay, tapos pinupukpok yung gate ko, yes, sa Marikina, hinaharas ako, minubura and everything.
Kailan ba yan?
August 8. Just recent.
Yung bahay nyo dito sa
Marikina, yes.
Na-respondingan at nangyari.
Hindi na naabutan. So, may mga susunod pang gagawin para mahuli na ito. Kilala ko in person.
Ano bang nangyari? Na-file na ng complaint? Nag-file na kayo?
Meron na sa barangay and nag-follow na yung iba.
May footage ka ba?
May footage ka? Sige, ma'am.
Dumating sa ibang 911.
Ay, sobrang laki yung ginhawa at malaki talaga yung natulong ng 911 sa amin kasi for an hour nag-aantay kami from the barangay and PNP, walang dumating. Kung hindi kami tumawag sa 911, walang magre-respond din talaga.
So yung nag-response from yan, response din siya.
Yes.
From
I think si 911, when I called sa 911, ang ginawa ni 911, nag-radyo sa mga PNP kung ano yata yung nearest na pinapunta agad. Tapos sinek pa ni 911 kung may dumating na. Tinawagan ako ulit sa home. Yes. Less than 10 minutes.
Ano ba ang pangalan mo? Mama, what's your name?
Pangalan mo sa record.
Pangalan sa record lang po. Pangalan po.
Garcia. Garcia.
Garcia. Surname po yun?
Julian.
Julian. Ano spelling mo?
Julien.
Thank you.
Here, salute the Red Cross, and if you guys can see me here on the right side of the stage, there are actually ranking on the Red Cross that is running down on the street.
So how do we get the shirt?
Ay, ano?
The shirt po to?
For the QR code yan. String bag, sir. Register dito.
Gusto ko yung shirt.
Raffle later.
Yeah.
So, along that collaboration, NGA is no different. We have many people who contribute to NGA, and NGA started with myself and my co-founder, Mike Gollum. If Mike, you can come up to the stage where you're at, because I want to make sure that everyone sees. So he's going to come up. NGA started about a decade ago, and I was the technology side, so building out the technology. I'm going to share with you here today the secret sauce of NGA, all the technology. And Mike,
yes, bro.
Mike is the outgoing, actually very shy person. For those that don't, I'll give you my mic. Mike is a very shy person. Actually, he's a very outgoing, spreading the love of 911 and letting everyone know about it. Do you want to share any words with the group?
I just want to thank everybody for participating and giving us an opportunity to bring our product to your country. And I got to meet the first woman that was saved by the Philippine National Police, Mrs. Garcia. It brought tears to my eyes. And then they made fun of me on my birthday with it just the other day. And the two police officers, the two responders that took the call, are they here in the room? Well, they are. Can you guys stand up? Yeah, here we go. These two guys took the first 911 call in Manila. Let's give them a hand. Yeah! Thank you.
So, again, it's a full collaboration. There are many people that contribute to this, the least of which is Ishka Villas-Cisneros. Ishka, if you can come up. Ishka is the president of NGA 911 Philippines.
The superstar.
I'm always asked, how is it that an American company delivering 911 service in the United States came to the Philippines? Why the Philippines? So, for all of those who are wondering or asking that question, your
The superstar.
answer
Ishka,
Yeah, actually, I just wanted to share. When NGA started, it was growing in the US. That was the only Filipina in the company and also the youngest employee. And it was, I wanted to bring the technology that we have in the United States to the Philippines. Kasi kasama ko po yung wala kami sa US. At ilang beses na siya na-save na 911. And I just felt that dapat kayo yung dito na-experience yung experience ko. And that's why I was able to convince our CEO, our board, our investors to invest in the Philippines and bring this technology para ma-save din yung dollar nyo and the funds.
So the collaboration, all of the Filipinos that work with us every day, our entire staff, please give yourself a hand. Everybody for everything. We love you. We're grateful. Thank you all.
So the collaboration doesn't start there. Again, 911 is the epitome of many people coming together to save lives, to save human lives. For me, it's not only my co-founder, my good partner, Ishka, it's also my dear wife, who's right here. She could come up, that would be great. And she joined me on this travel to the Philippines. I've been to the Philippines many times. You all are blessed with a very beautiful country. And I got when I would go back, I would say, next time you need to come. Or she's busy with the kids or just with that. She's joined me on this trip, and in fact, this is a secret I'm going to tell you. So you guys don't know this. It is actually her birthday today.
Happy birthday.
So everyone, if you would please, I'd like to sing happy birthday. So on the count of 3, Mike, can you lead us?
1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Shuli. Happy birthday to you. And many more. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much for letting us help. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Great. Okay. All right. So now that that secret's out of there, I'm in trouble. I want to share with you what we created and what we brought to the Philippines. The technology that drives next generation 911. So if we could just jump right into it, our vision was to bring 911 from the United States to the Philippines. And if anyone has experienced 911 in the U.S., since I was a young child of maybe 7 or 8 years old, they were teaching us that when you need help, you dial 911. So there are many cases every day in the United States where a young child will save the life of their parents because they know 911. And when that call lands at dispatch has the protocols to know a young child is calling them. And they know how to interact with the child. They have the protocols in place to know how to handle the situation. So we are very pleased to bring this technology to the Philippines. The journey for us started 5 years ago, and it really culminated in a major milestone last week where we went live with the Philippines National Police. So what went live was 911, and it seemed, for any American, it seems sort of basic. Of course, 911 is a life-saving service, and the reason you dial 911 is it saves lives. And it's very simple. There's not 20 or 100 or 200 different numbers to dial. There's just one number to dial, it's 911. That gets you the first responders, and they will respond very quickly, as is the case with a 4-minute response time. Let's see that young woman. Next slide. And the reason you dial 911 is because you know you're going to be connected with a professional that knows how to deal with the situation. They are trained in protocols. These protocols are even international standards, modified to local considerations. They're routed to that dispatcher who knows exactly what help you need. In some cases, they're trained to tell you how to conduct CPR, for example. But that dispatcher is that first line of response when and where you need it. Our job is to make sure that you get that call connected. Next slide. So, what happens when you dial 911 is very simple. There's just a couple of questions. The location is key. And as you'll see a little bit later in this presentation, you're going to hear how Google has worked with us to make sure that location is available when 911 is dialed. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to verify your location. The next, the next thing you're going to do is make sure that they validate your phone number. So your phone number and your location is vital. If the line drops, they got to be able to call you back. And they got to be able to dispatch help to where you're located. And then finally, they'll get an idea of the nature of your emergency so that they can follow their protocols internally to provide the help that's needed exactly when and where it's needed. Next slide. So to give you an idea of what the next generation 911 looks like, there's a very brief minute or 2 minute video that I can play for you that really gives a real overview on next generation 911. Go ahead. Technical difficulty. Do we have that? Video? Let's just get a minor technical difficulties.
911 for help during emergencies, and we've always been there. Basic 911 technology is essentially the same today as it was 40 years ago. But along the way, we've made some enhancements to the system to accommodate new technologies, like cell phones, location tracking, and now texting to 911. But that's getting harder to do. Technology is constantly evolving, now faster than ever before. And as the world adapts to keep up, it's our duty to keep up as well. Why? Because people expect 911 to work no matter what. They assume that they can reach 911 via text, picture, or video messaging, and they expect to get help quickly from any device at any time. It's time to make that concept a reality. Next generation 911 transitions us from yesterday's technology to a faster, more flexible, resilient, and scalable system, enabling 911 to keep up with the future. So what is NG 911? In short, it's an IP-based system that allows information to flow seamlessly across the 911 system, from the public to first responders and beyond. It's much more than just new computers. NG 911 is an evolving system of hardware, software, standards, policies, and training that will eventually lead to safer, faster, and more informed responses. It provides improved interoperability with first responders, sharing life-saving information instantly. It's the most efficient backup plan to make sure all calls are answered when there's a call overload, power outage, or a natural disaster. It's better services to the public and more ways to access help through 911, such as text, video, automatic crash notification, and more. So what's your role? First responders, legislators, and 911 system employees will each play a role in making NG 911 happen. Through collaboration and education, we can ensure this new system will best serve our communities. Learn more about how you can help by getting involved in the conversation about next generation 911 today.
Next slide. Okay, so that is next generation 911. That is what we packaged up in the United States and we brought to the Philippines. That technology is available in the Philippines today, and we're starting to roll it out. We're doing that hand in hand with our good partners, GLBT. You'll hear from Mitch here shortly after my presentation. And we're working hand in hand to make sure that that is delivered to each and every LGU across the nation. Our mission is to make sure that the entire nation has this technology available to their citizens. every Filipino across the nation. This technology is going to handle problems that are listed here, which we talked about, delivering location. There's a next step to location, it's additional data. So, for example, if someone opts in, you can get maybe an elderly person who has special needs. When they dial 911, a dispatcher can have additional information to tailor a response to that particular person and their particular needs. It also, we have a slide to focus on this, but we're going to talk about how intelligent routing is critical to next generation 911. And that's also in this system. Of course, again, talking about the collaboration, none of this would be able to be, I would not be on the stage here today if not for Francis at the E911 National Office, Secretary Avalos, and DICT. This is a collaboration of many individuals, many organizations, public and private, that make this work. 911, the beauty of 911 is many organizations working together to ensure that every single life, when they dial 911, matters and gets an immediate response, an overwhelming response when they're ready. So these are the private partnerships that supplement that collaboration. Google, who you're going to hear from in just a moment. PLDT, Mitch is going to be giving a presentation after I speak. And I want to acknowledge our good partners at AWS, because AWS is masters of infrastructure. Their services and applications that they offer up in the cloud allow us to scale and deploy very quickly to ensure that we can roll it out across the nation. And then finally, in those areas, right in the next slide, in those areas that are remote, we partnered with Starlink, and in fact, Kalinga, and I know I've mastered that enunciation, I apologize, but Kalinga has actually used Starlink to make sure that they have service remotely. So Starlink satellites is not only the ability to get to remote places, but also when a typhoon comes in, and in order to keep your 911 center, your command center live, we actually connected to multiple fiber links, multiple LTE links, and satellite to make sure that command center can always stay live regardless of what natural disaster strikes. Next slide. So, talking about location. Location is key. Our good partners at Google, we are partnered with Google to deliver location in the Philippines. The question that is commonly asked is, if Brad can know exactly where I'm at, why can't 911? And the answer is that 911 can, and Google has made that available to us. Next slide. And to understand what Google has done for us, what we have is the gentleman in Salvatore is going to talk to us for about 7 minutes and tell us all about Google. You guys will be quizzed on Google location services later on this afternoon. He's going to educate us. Go ahead, Salvatore.
Hello everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. Will not be the person of logistics for help. I know I have 5 to 10 minutes. I try to use the time wisely. Present the service will be very proud to Google, and we will launch this service in the Philippines as soon as possible. I have a few slides. We'll go through those, and then I'll share my contact details in case you have any questions. First of all, my name is Salvatore Gabriel. I have partnerships and operations for emergency location services here at Google. I'm based in London, and I work with something I'm very proud of as part of safety, something that makes 100 users safe. We know that reducing emergency response time by 60 seconds in the US alone can save 10,000 lives every year. It's just a targeting number. Imagine what that number could be across the world. That's why we decided to launch ELS, Emergency Location Service. Our mission is we want to enable other users to get help from emergency responders more effectively whenever they need. When you make an emergency call, this is probably the most important call in your life. This is where you need help. You probably call once in your life, but when you want, you call. You really need help. Let's start with a story. Let's take an example. This is a famous story. Imagine a 9-year-old patient hunted out by making an emergency. You are the call taken, you don't know where this person is, you don't know what the problem is, but you know that most likely there is an emergency. Right now, it takes paramedics and ambulance 30 minutes on travel. It takes even longer to understand what the problem is. And so, we know that we can go back to the modern. What is the problem? If you think about it, location is one of the most important things when you need to send help. So having a precise location is the key in an emergency call. The emergency systems in the world are built based on a world of landlines. And now we know that over 80% of emergency calls are with a mobile phone. And even the mobile phones have a lot of sensors that can help get a precise location. If you know Google Maps, or you're going to see a pair of blue dots, your location is very, very precise. And why don't we find it when get that location in the call taken when the user makes an emergency? That's what EMS is. It's a service that we launched in 2016 that helps provide location to the call takers for ambulance, police, fire brigade, and other emergencies. And it works in a very simple way. When the user initiates an emergency call, or this one emergency numbers that the authority provides, any manual phone tries to compute the best possible location and provides this location directly to the local authority and to the call taker. So there are languages. Google provides this service for free to any authority in the world. Then the authority is responsible for setting up a landline that receives this location and gets this location to the call taker and to the person's phone. Important, this service runs on Android, on almost 100% of the Android user base. There is no need for any special app to be installed. There is no need for any special hardware. This is something we can enable on any Android phone immediately because right. It's flexible. We can decide when the location is to be sent, how often. We can decide the emergency numbers that this service should be enabled for. And last point, it's very important, this system is designed with privacy and its scope. The information is sent from the device directly to the yellow spot. There is no Google server in between. We don't see those messages, we therefore cannot store those. The location is computed on device and is sent directly to the endpoint provided by the partner through the network. This is something that, as I mentioned, was launched for the first time in 2016 here in the UK. Now it's live in almost 70 countries, and we would love to enable this service in the Philippines. Let's go back to Charlie's story, to the example I had earlier. Let's say you have a 9-year-old patient who passes out while making an emergency. Let's say this happens in a country where ELS is active for all the Android users. How do ELS improve the outcome of that scenario? First of all, paramedics will ask the Chinese precise location, and they could reach him within 5 minutes. The location the ELS provides is often precise to the building and often less than 30 meters. Number two, But we can go beyond the location. And we can send, for example, the emergency contacts. The Chinese has already their phone. We can also share the paramedics contacts, for example. So paramedics can call the paramedics straight away. And people can also share data like allergies, disease diseases, or any kind of illness or data that Chinese has on the phone. Then paramedics, in this example, can offer the right information. This is a booster in efficiency for country. Ambulances, police, they don't have to run about to look for a person in need. But more importantly, as I mentioned earlier, this can save a lot of time. You can look for more information on this service by looking at android.com/ELS, Information Service, and you can get in touch with us anytime. We would love to be able to service in the Philippines as soon as possible. And thank you for your cooperation. Thank you for your opportunity to present.
That's Salvador. That's Google. Google is here to also protect Filipino citizens of the country. There's many, again, collaboration, many technology partners, many government agency partners that are coming together. And the vision here is that ultimately there will be an integrated, nationwide emergency services network that is dedicated to public safety, that is private to public safety, that connects all first responders and their head offices and mobile devices together so that they can have a single unified backbone of communication by which to coordinate in emergency response. This is where we're heading. It's a journey. We have we're a few steps on this journey, but this is where we're heading. Next slide. And just to brief some of the things that are some of the applications that sit on top of this ESINet or this emergency services internet. It's a combination of these next-gen capabilities, which is basically a next-gen core, which is the intelligent routing for calls. It's analytics, and also it's the presentation of that call to first responders so they can answer that call, collect all that information, formulate a response plan, and actually dispatch. These are all the applications, and thanks to our good partners at AWS, these sit out in the AWS cloud, which means they're scalable, they're resilient, they're always protected against cybersecurity threats, and they can immediately start to be deployed nationwide. Next slide. And this just gives you an idea of when a call goes from your headset up through the network and into the dispatcher's console, this is kind of what it looks like. So you have a location information, you have call controls to put the call on hold, to transfer it, and you have contacts. This interface is the culmination of decades of work and knowledge from the United States. This is the exact same call-taking screen that LAPD, LA County Sheriff's Office, Louisiana, New York, that they use in order to provide dispatch and interaction with the caller. You have the exact same tool set here in the Philippines. Next slide. And some of these first steps across the nation include, as I mentioned last week, the launch of the Philippines National Police. It includes Morong, which was the first, Alaminos, and also CDO. And it's continuing to grow very fast. Next slide. So, last very, very important piece of information is this. That in order to get engaged in next generation 911 in the Philippines, all you got to do is scan that QR code. You can go to the booth back there. They would be glad to give you all the information. Make sure that you get your information, your contact information registered with them. so we can make sure that we get you engaged with the advancement of next generation 911 across the nation. And then, one last thing, Ishka, are we deploying the gifts? So now, everyone be prepared, because now there's going to be gifts that are deployed, everyone's getting a gift bag, so they're going to be, the ushers are going to start to deliver them to your tables. And last but not least, I want to thank you all very much for coming here, for hearing us out, for collaborating, for being together, and we are so pleased and proud to be with you here today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Mr. Don Ferguson. Wow.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is still awake with the strong coffee of Edson Shamila. Anyway, before I begin, I'd just like to really give recognition to the team for making this happen, really, right? So it's really the NGA 911 team, in my opinion. Having used this in the US as well, is the best platform out there in terms of emergency response globally. So let's give a big hand to Mike, to Dawn, and to the rest of the NGA 911 team for making Philippines the first in Southeast Asia to have this live, this solution live. So I'm going to be showing you some slides on what the role of PLDT provides in making this happen, to make sure that the network is resilient enough. So, but before I get to the network, it's really all about the people, right? It's really all about the responders. Next slide, please. So I just wanted to show people that actually go the extra mile and provide that malasakit service, because I wanted to showcase really, not because of how PLDT does the extra mile, but because to give recognition to our audience here, which is really the Philippine National Police, our rescue teams, our Bureau of Fire, and all the emergency agencies of the Philippine government. So, to be honest with you, you guys are really key in how all of this will happen. So, palakpakan natin po ang ating mga public servants. Thank you so much for your service. Because the next slide will show you being part of public service. As you know, telecommunications are tapped na now as public service. Mag-down ang internet sa bahay nyo, parang may sunog na, diba? So with that, even during calamities or emergencies, we try to be as resilient as we can, because it's quite important for us to keep the communications going, to keep the lines moving, whether it's on the voice, whether it's on the data internet services that we provide. So with that, allow me to focus and showcase to you our infrastructure that will make sure that NGA 911 or emergency 911 will be fully operational even during times of calamities. Next slide, please. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the updated numbers of our network in the Philippines. As Secretary Amolos mentioned earlier in his speech, we are an archipelago. We have 7,106 islands depending on the tide. Diba? And all of the telecommunication providers in the Philippines build their own infrastructure. And that will come across fiber, aerial network, and even submarine to cut across from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. And to make that resilient, you need to build loops para kung may road widening construction at naputol yung fiber, lilipat ko siya sa kabilang rota. It reroutes itself with a different route. So with that, in PLDT alone, which is known to have the most robust network, is we have about 900,000 kilometers of fiber footprint in our domestic fiber backbone. Yun po yun. And we added 11 loops. Nakikita mo yung loops. And out of those 11, there's 3 subtending loops to add a tertiary resiliency. Ganun po ang the way we operate the network to make sure
yung communication lines, yung internet lines are always up and ready for service. Next slide, please. From a wireless perspective, because during emergencies, you might not be in a situation where you have a landline present. And majority of the Filipino people rarely use landline anymore. Puro na mobile phones. So we have to highlight basically that it's smart that our company, and you would see not just only us, but even our nearest competitor would have more or less the same number of footprint in terms of their wireless network. We have about 70. We have around 76,300 towers or base stations na tinatawag natin, even in the remote islands of the country. And out of that, more than half is actually running on LTE or 4G and 5G. And 4,800 5G base stations. With that, we continuously try to invest more on our infrastructure, because right now, we cover only 97% of the total population. Population to you, that's where our Filipino families live across the country, right? Next slide, please. And we have to invest also and build our international submarine cables. Because if we just have a backbone in the Philippines, paano tayo makakabot ng internet when you're trying to access, for example, AWS Cloud or the Google emergency location services, right? So you need the submarine cables so that every request that you need, you can actually traverse globally and get the type of data you need. So PLDT, if you see the small map here of the Philippines, ang liit po natin, this is how we interconnect to the rest of the world, right? Out of 15 submarine stations that land in the Philippines, we are operating 4 of that. And that's about a total capacity of 31.6 terabytes of capacity of data that we have with. Kasi what happens is when you access the internet or when you're calling long distance, for example, or using data voice or LTE over voice over LTE, I mean, to call relatives to the United States, all of that would pass through these submarine cables. The data that traverses across the world. These are the submarine cables. It's quite important because in the advent of a lot of our hyperscalers, like we call Facebook or Meta, right? AWS, Amazon, yung Google po natin, and all these hyperscalers or cloud providers or social media providers, they are now located in the Philippines.